Hey guys, last week we cut this video about the congressional race between Katie Arrington and Congressman Mark Sanford. Since then, Representative Katie Arrington was in a horrific car accident in which she was terribly injured along with Jackie Goff, and the driver that hit them, Mrs. Helen White, was killed. We're still going to put this video out because it's all about how Katie Arrington is so incredibly hardworking, and we know that she's going to be able to get past these injuries because of that hard work. She'll be back on the campaign trail very soon. She's a friend. She lives right down the street. I know her well, and I know she is very, very, very hardworking. But anyway, I wanted to put this intro with this video just to say that the entire PUSH staff is praying for Katie, praying for Jackie, and praying for Mrs. White's family. Thanks. Hi, I'm Wesley Donahue, founder and CEO of PUSH Digital. Today we're talking about the hot congressional race in South Carolina where freshman lawmaker Katie Arrington beat former Governor and Congressman Mark Sanford. Many pundits are claiming that Katie Arrington beat Mark Sanford because of a last-minute tweet sent by President Donald Trump. Even our local paper, the Post and Courier, said so. I disagree. A tweet sent 2 hours before the polls close on a day where it's raining cats and dogs isn't going to move the numbers by 3%. So why did Arrington win? Here are 5 reasons. Quick side note, PUSH Digital is in Charleston, South Carolina, the epicenter of this congressional race, and I actually live right down the street from Katie Arrington. We're practically neighbors. Number 1, strength versus weakness. This week, political consultant Terry Sullivan was in an article with Yahoo News, and he said that the Republican Party has lost its compass. He said that we now care more about personalities than we do ideas. He's exactly right. I completely agree. But that personality trait that the GOP is looking for is strength. They hate weakness. We want strong leaders with strong personalities. Katie Arrington came across as a very strong female, where again, Mark Sanford came across as that ideologue and frankly, a very weak man. When you think of Mark Sanford, the very last thing you think about is strength. Crying on national television doesn't help much. Number 2, Mark Sanford didn't take Katie Arrington seriously until it was too late. Frankly, Katie outworked him big time. We didn't hear anything from Mark Sanford until about 3 or 4 weeks before the election. Katie Arrington, on the other hand, was everywhere. She was all over TV. She was all over digital. She had signs pretty much everywhere. Katie Arrington was at any meeting where 2 or more people were together. The lady straight up worked her ass off. Mark Sanford, on the other hand, even when he wasn't in Washington, D.C., was nowhere to be found around the community, and instead of spending that big war chest, he pretty much just sat on all that money until the last 3 or 4 weeks when he finally went up on TV. The weekend before the election, Mark Sanford showed up in Summerville at the local farmer's market, pretty much with his head down, had no staff with him, no literature, no stickers. He wasn't even really talking to anybody. And on second thought, maybe he was just buying vegetables. And that leads me to number 3. Mark Sanford didn't have a real campaign or a ground game. Did Mark Sanford even have a campaign manager, a communications director, a political director? No one knows. All indications are that Mark Sanford had absolutely no organized campaign, and his strategy was built on a last-minute ad blitz in the last few weeks of the campaign. I own one of the most prominent Republican digital operations in the country. We're the guys that are supposed to tell you that the ground game is dead and you're supposed to put all your money into digital, right? That's what we're known for. But that's not the case here at PUSH. We believe in a ground game because when it's a close election, ground games matter. Katie Arrington hired a team that specializes in grassroots politics. So not only did Katie work her butt off, but she had by far the best ground game and grassroots effort of almost any campaign in South Carolina this cycle. Number 4, Mark Sanford left way too much money in the bank. Mark Sanford is notoriously cheap. People have made fun of him for that in South Carolina for well over a decade, okay? But in this case, cheap cost him this race. He could have spent money on a ground game. In a campaign, people, bodies are the cheapest thing you can buy, but he didn't. He has one of the absolute best TV firms in the country. He could have relied on them more, gone up on TV 2 months earlier and had the amount of money he needed to stay up until the election, but he didn't. Instead, Sanford's just done what he's always done. He was a cheap ass. He sat on over $1 million in the bank. Let that sink in. Congressman Mark Sanford lost with $1 million just sitting in the bank. And number 5, President Trump. All right, I said the tweet didn't matter, and I don't think the tweet did matter. President Trump didn't endorse her until 2 hours before the polls closed. He didn't come into South Carolina and stump for her. What he did do was sit back and let Mark Sanford attack him. And in South Carolina, this cycle, that's enough. Every single South Carolina Republican primary poll I've seen this cycle shows that the number one issue Republicans care about right now is loyalty to President Trump. Sanford stood his ideological ground and took numerous shots at President Trump. Katie Arrington then took those shots and showed everybody. She put it all over TV. Anytime she was in front of people, she used those examples of Mark Sanford going after Donald Trump. Katie Arrington is a hardcore Trump supporter. Mark Sanford is a Trump antagonist. And in South Carolina, frankly, that's all that matters right now. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then go sign up for our email list and get all kinds of free political advice in your inbox each week. Thanks.